Greetings, fellow Die courtiers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Crusader Kings III, Rise of the Die. Episode 3, Young Warlord. So taking a look at the neighboring territories, we do have the Nagku, who have fewer troops than I do, and we could capture a county. So the counties are not part of the Amdo Kingdom, so it really doesn't lend itself to building a bigger title. But it's also a possibility. Actually, is that true? No, yeah, that empire has no borders of Amdo. As you can see, Amdo goes up that way. Now, the other thing that we could think about doing is, because the Tasong Nongpo also is part of the Amdo Kingdom, it might be possible to attack him if he is weakened with his war with Kumarleb, gaining some of the territory that will eventually make up the Kingdom of Amdo, because his entire territory is part of the Kingdom of Amdo. And then there's also the northern two counties of this guy. I can't even read that because his face is in the way. But he has a pretty inferior force as well. And those northern two counties are part of the Kingdom of Amdo. The reason to take a look at that is, for us to make the title, we don't need all the territories. We only need 13. So right now we have 3. So like if I got those 2 counties, that would be 5. And then if I got some of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counties, that would be 10. And you start to work up to becoming a king yourself. Takes some time, but it's something to consider. Is you don't necessarily have to have contiguous borders. You can, have a little bit of border gore if it helps you create the title that you're looking for. And then there's also Nagormo up here, and same deal. All of this is potentially Kingdom of Amdo territory as well. But we are basically tied soldier-wise with him, so it wouldn't be a wise thing to attack unless I see him weak. So taking a Kormaleb and this guy up here. So Derlenka's forces are pretty diminished at the moment. And if I look, oh no, that was telling me wrong information. Okay, never mind. I take it back. For whatever reason, it was splitting up into the duchy titles. The duchy itself is weaker, but not the kingdom as a whole. So slowly, Bakwin is starting to make some monies. It does look like the remaining Sog territory down here is... Oh, they're just raiding for captives. Never mind. They're just trying to kidnap him and murder him off. And that's... Who's doing that? Amdo's doing that. Okay. So Amdo's currently at war, but they're not at war with someone who's able to defend himself. They're just torturing the remainder of Sog. How about attacking Kormaleb? We just polled on that, and the vote was no. Kormaleb at the moment is in the middle of a war, and there's not territory for me to capture as a result, because the war target would be Kormaleb, the county, and Kormaleb, the county, is currently occupied by this kingdom. So we're kind of waiting for Kormaleb's war to resolve, and it's not resolving very quickly, as you can see. Now, if Tasong Gongpo can capture Madoi here, the war will end pretty quickly. And it looks like they're capturing each other's territory. So if you take a look here, Kormaleb's captured the southern 2 counties, and they captured the southern county here. So they're sort of just trading. I could jump in as a third party, and I suppose I could pull on that again if you want. The other thing I could do in the meantime is go raiding instead. So I could raid for money, and I could raid for potential political prisoners that I could sacrifice as human sacrifice. Because we do have a tenet of human sacrifice, which would build up my piety and would be good for my faith. So I could hypothetically raid for prisoners here. Now the thing, if I do that, I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe if I raid for captives, there is still a truce cooldown to that. So there is a bit of a penalty if I go raiding instead for captives, but what I could do is I could just raid for money. Perhaps hitting Cormaleb if they have counties that have money. 3 and 3. Okay, they don't really have money. Let's check it. Amdo. 15. 4. 4. 9. Oh no. Purohit, don't be preaching unorthodox garbage. You're a 14 learner. You should know better. Are you like a secret non-believer? Is that what's going on here? No, you're zealous. I have no idea what you're talking about. So that she just hurt my piety because she's preaching things that she shouldn't. So I'm trying to find good raid targets. Some of Amdo is a decent raid target. Kamdo here, they have a roughly equal military strength, and they would be a decent raid target as well. I think if I'm going to go raiding, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put together... I'm going to add bowmen and horsemen as men-at-arms. I think if I have additional men-at-arms forces... Oh, there we go. No, that was against Sog. Okay. So the neighbors' war between Amdo and Sog resolved. I'm sure... Yeah. Amdo won, and they raided. Apparently he didn't get captured, so lucky him. Him and his disfigured one leg. But I currently have a forced treaty with him, so I can't attack him because of the treaty. Unless I want to lose fame and a lot of prestige and all that, so I don't want to do that. It looks like you guys want me to go raiding instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for those men-at-arms forces to build up. Wait for men-at-arms forces and then raid. Deft diplomacy. My chancellor has... Oh! I'm no longer in a truce with Sog. Should I fully conquer Sog? So what happened there is the skill of Kona just ended the truce that I have with Sog. These people down here. And he is nice and soft and ripe for the taking. And it looks like overwhelmingly you guys want me to go murk and murder. So let's just do that. That's a perfect opportunity. So, hi, guy. I would like your county, please. I almost feel bad. He's been like a human punching bag for all neighbors. And then Cormaleb's raid against... Oh, Amdo just declared war on Cormaleb. And their demands is the chiefdom of Nagoring. So no one wants Cormaleb, the territory, but Amdo has gone to war. I don't know if Amdo has called in their allies, however. So that's something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. But it looks like Amdo is really aggressively and forcefully expanding their territory, so that's another thing to be concerned about. I'm freeing him from his burden? Yeah, that's one way to think about it. You mean I'm giving him the royal beatdown. And martial skill. Prepared conscription. There we go. So prepared conscription here allows me to maintain my army more inexpensively, 15%, and then in friendly territories, I get reinforced a lot faster. So if my armies get worn down, all I have to do is march through my own territory, and they get replenished rather quickly. Much, much more quickly than they would otherwise. Because I think what is going to happen here is I'm going to have to get real aggressive and gamble a little bit, because it looks like Amdo is set to spread hard. Same with Sung Gampo. And if I don't get in on that, I'm going to be the next target. Either I expand to survive, or I sit back and die. So how are those words going for you? So he is doing a wonderful job of defending against the north, but he is doing a horrible job of defending against Amdo. Got it. So a little concerning that they are growing so quickly. How's the learning? Oh, about 14 months it might be done. Not bad. That was faster than I thought. Okay, my neighbor won against the north. So Kormaleb won against Sung Gangpo and repelled them successfully. It doesn't look like he has a lot of forces left, though. So that's so he's almost certainly going to lose this county to the Duke of this area. Got it. Nice. So my son, the heir, has just become curious. So gaining diplomacy and learning. Unfortunately, that's not exactly the martial education that we wanted him to have, but that's okay. I did specify that we wanted a martial education, and he's gone off kind of his own direction. But he still has pretty good martial and prowess still as a child. So there is hope. The other thing is my wife hasn't been pregnant in a while. We've been married for 6 years. She's had one kid. And as she grows older, the chance of more kids lowers, which means the few kids that I do have, I have to make sure that they don't die so that there's a lineage. There's a dynasty. Because here's the dynasty tree right now. It has one limb. It's not great. So do we try to go for them? Yeah, what I can do is as soon as I win this fight in Sog, I can consider going north to Kormaleb. So should I declare war on Kormaleb next? Oh, yeah, hold on. There's a different poll to be pulled. Incognito. Tonight, I've stripped myself of every symbol signifying my rank to walk anonymously amongst my soldiers. It is quiet evening, so when argument breaks out, the word reached me loud and clear. An infantryman is trying to convince his commander, my champion Godin, of the advantages of an alternative strategy. Godin will hear none of it. As I approach, the infuriated man raises his fist. I can either A, step in and protect the soldier. So I have a 0% chance for a martial lifestyle perk. I have a 100% chance to gain fought seasoned warrior for 1 prowess, and I'm likely to get wounded. I could B, make an example out of them for fighting, where I gain some dread, and Godin gets wounded, which he is my strongest champion, and also loses an opinion of me. Or I can sneak away and take credit for the soldier's idea, which gives me innovative strategy, which allows me to move a bit faster as an army and gives me additional martial skill, but lowers my minimum battle roll. So, 3 options there. To get fought seasoned warrior for some prowess and possibly wounded. Wound Godin, the my champion, or to take credit for the strategy and let this resolve itself. And Shinox, thank you for the resub. Cheers. Okay, looks like we're going to just take credit for ourselves. Yoink. All right, so what that looks like is innovative strategy. It was right here. Extra movement speed, lowered martial skill, or extra martial skill. So now my martial's at 19 instead of 18. And I just captured Sog. I basically just won. Okay. So there's Baroness Togo of Biru, who runs Sog the county. She don't like me much, but I own the title, so she can shove it. They're not powerful. I'm not worried about them creating factions. There is a factions over here, and there's no factions that are rallying against me just yet. So Sog has been captured, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the increased control of a county from Bakwin to Sog. Because Sog has a control of 0, whereas Bakwin has 84. 84 is at least giving me levies and taxes, albeit not at full percent, but at enough of a percent that we want Sog up. So the question is, should I declare war on Cormaleb, as they are currently embroiled in a defensive war right now? So let's see how they're doing. They are defending against... Oh man, they're at war with 2 other people now. And I think they're fighting over the same thing. They're all fighting over Nagoring here. So Nagormo and Amdo are attacking them. They're in a 2-front war now. And it looks like you guys want it to be a 3-front war. Man, you guys are brutal. I like it. The other thing is, because of the man-at-arms forces that I do have a bit of a negative prestige, but I'm not that worried, because once my man-at-arms forces are completely replenished, I won't have negative prestige. It's just that I'm putting together the man-at-arms, so I'm spending a considerable amount of prestige doing that. And it does look like we're hitting them next, so let's go ahead and resolve that. And what I want to do is, let's see, declare war. Well, the other options is to subjugate them for them to become a vassal. But I'd rather just own the county. I don't want him as a vassal in my court. Why, hello there. So I don't think I can recapture Cormaleb. Or Quamorleb or whatever. Oh, I thought I moved that. Yes. I don't know why I had to move that twice. Rip those guys? Yeah, no kidding. Alright. Sieging. My wife does not like me much. Doesn't help that I'm a lunatic. I should be learning her language pretty soon. So, neighbor Cormaleb just lost control. So, yeah, Amdo did just snake the northernmost territory for themselves. So now he's really only fighting against me, because that territory is now owned by Amdo, which means Nagormo would have to either declare war on Amdo or give up, and it looks like they gave up. So speaking of intrigue, all right, about just shy of a year, and I should learn her language, and then I'll try to sway her so that she likes me, because, you know, that would be helpful. So the 2 people that want court positions, neither of whom are particularly skilled at anything, so I'm not likely to offer it to them. Oh, and then there's something else going on. The High Chieftain Kona, which is these guys, just lost against you, And I think they took this county. Yep, they took this county. So these guys just got a little bit weaker. Actually, they're real weak right now. Like, extraordinarily weak. Ah, I know why you lost. He's hitting the smoke leaf a little too hard. He's reclusive stoner. That's hilarious. So Yu is expanding their feudal empire down south. Amdo expanding their tribal kingdom up north. Actually, Amdo and... Ooh, this is good. They did go to war with one another over Nyoring. Interesting. Okay, so these two kingdoms are at war with one another. I have no idea if Amdo has called in their allies, but I'm curious. No. Oh, Nagormo doesn't have allies. Amdo has allies. Amdo has 2 allies. I don't know if they called them in. So we'll see if Nagormo wins. That's good for me, probably, because it weakens Amdo. But I think probably Amdo is going to call in their allies. They're going to call in Konyi, or whatever they are, to come help. But we'll see. See how that shakes out. Oh, yeah, I probably don't want you as a champion, if you're a bleeder. I'm looking at the guests in my court to see who I can recruit. And I just have one dude who's a hemophiliac. He's good at sieging, though. I'll give him that. He's just vengeful and shy. Because, yeah, I'm always on the lookout for better knights. But, you know, he might just bleed out on me. I think at this point, I probably want to save up my money to build up infrastructure in my territory, though. Generally speaking, I would say wealth begets power, and power begets wealth. So use them to form a vicious cycle of conquering others and then reinvesting the spoils of war to reinforce your own territories, to conquer others, to then reinvest in your own territories, so that you're constantly becoming more powerful. If you spend your money without that in mind, you're going to go wide and then collapse. So with that in mind, what I really want to do is I want to start adding buildings in my own territories, like palisades to make it harder for them to raid me, or markets for my economy to grow, so that I have a bright future. Ooh, Baroness Togo. No, this isn't an ooh. So the Baroness of Biru, of the southern barony of Sog, gained respect for me, and I gained prestige because of my high martial skill. Or my excellent martial skill. So essentially what happened is his increasing of control in the county made the Baron of the county like me more and give me prestige. I'll take it. And yes, my wife did just get pregnant, so another kid potentially on the way. Although I did have one lose to stillborn, so I'm not gonna count them till they hatch, you know. Prisoner taken at siege. It is the Marshal's son, and the siege has been won. All right, so the other place I have to attack is there. Go there next. The supply limit means that I am going to be not well supplied while in that territory. Also, we're heading into the winter here. It's November the 23rd. Oh, hi, I see you. Never mind, I'm gonna crush his little army. I wonder if I can ransom that prisoner. I can. For 10 gold. I think I'm going to do that. Because I'm likely to win this war whether I have hostages or not, so I'll take the money instead. Because I already have a war score of 84, so it's not like that hostage is going to significantly influence the war score. So, money good. These guys are trying to escape me, but I'm going to keep chasing them. Also, it helps because I snuck up on the army camp, remember? So here's what I'm going to do. Commander, me. Because I have a little bonus to movement speed as commander. Learn language success. So here, there is still some choices, despite the fact that I learned the language. So I'm going to read this to you and then have you make the choice. But after lots of hard work, I finally learned the Sharaseni language. Endless hours of practicing it. Accentuation. Wow, my English is really bad. Maybe I should learn that. Sleepless nights and mimicking inflection. Countless lessons mastering intonation. It was all worth it in the end. During my efforts, I look to emulate my wife's accent. I am sure she would be impressed with my results. And of course, who is this? The peasants of their culture respect me a great deal more. So either I can pick. I feel accomplished, I learn the language, and it ends the scheme. Or, alternatively, should I send a letter to her in her native language? So there's a 46% chance that she gains opinion of me and forms a friendship with me. But there's an even greater chance that it comes off as dishonest mockery and she forms a rivalry with me. So there's either I just learn the language or I gamble for a relationship. Which has a greater chance of me just mocking her and forming a rivalry with my wife. And it looks like you guys want me to just be like, good, accomplished. Okay, we can do that. Next up, I'm going to start swaying her. So she likes me a little bit more because I have learned her language. I am going to tell her to convert to my religion. Next. I'm coming for you. Swiggity swooty, coming for that booty. She never responded to the conversion, did she? She'll take her time. So my bowmen and my mountaineers are fighting in favorable terrain. I am countering their light footmen, but not their heavy cav. I have more champions, significantly more. I have way more martial skill. And they're getting whooped. Because, I outnumbered them like 2-1. Stop, they're already dead. I also just captured... Who are you? Wait, what? Your forces captured... the Spy Master. Okay, cool. Alright, so now I'm going to run a sway to try to make her like me more. And here's that Spy Master. He does have reasonable martial skill, but not very good prowess. If he heals, he would have 7 prowess, so he's not terrible. So it's perhaps, if he heals up from this, I would consider recruiting him and forcing him to work as my knight instead. What happens if I execute him? So I don't really have a just cause to execute him, so it would be seen as... oh no, he's actually of a different faith, so I could execute him for piety. So I take that back. Poll on that. Should I execute him? What do you guys think? And I'm about to win this war. My war score is already at 93, so... The rise of the die. I did just make enough money and I'm going to build markets. So markets are going to give me more supplies to be able to supply my troops better with food for long marches and taxes. And that's for Zadoi. All right, analyzing the war. Hey, Nagormo is winning. Nice, against Amdo. That's good to know. So you guys don't want me to sacrifice him. I won't. The reclusive stoner in the south is recovering his troops. Man, he has horrible prestige. You looks scary. They also probably have a lot of good allies. Yeah, they do. So he's someone to watch out for. My other neighbors, not so much. Not a whole lot of imposing forces around here. Tasong no Gompo is powerful, but not powerful enough to definitely win unless I'm in a two-front war. But then Nagormo's allies form a 2K alliance, so that's something to look out for, like I said before. Part of me just wants to, like, whoop his army again, rather than do a prolonged siege here. But I don't want to go running after them to chase them, because that could be annoying. Nah, I'll keep sieging. My daughter. Alright, so this daughter is going to be named V-Dub. I like how the original name was Doodlos. Alright. So... V-Dub, I want to educate you myself. And then... wow, you're a genius. Not bad. Little girl, not bad. Dang. She inherited from both of us. So taking a look, my wife's intelligent. I'm intelligent, albeit a lunatic. My son became intelligent, but she is a straight genius. I don't know how you can tell what a one-day-old, like, what she is, but that's okay. And I'm going to be raising her for martial education as well. So we're going to try to turn her into a genius tactician or something. Does the size of my army grow proportionally with my territory? So the way that works is it depends on the infrastructure of the territory. So if you click on the territories here, see how this territory can supply 250 troops. And then depending on the buildings built, if I, for instance, built a palisade, it would give me 100 more troops. Or if I build a war camp, it would give me 150 more troops. So it really depends on the infrastructure and the level of control. Because that's another thing is like SOG, for instance, offers up 250 troops. Well, no, that's the garrison, but there is troops that could be drawn from SOG, but right now the control is so low that I get 40% fewer troops from SOG than I would otherwise if it was fully controlled. So it's a balance of the infrastructure built on the territory. There's also some other factors, benefits, things like that, that can affect it. So for instance, right now, I don't think I have any other special factors going on, but sometimes you can have special events where there's like increased control. And then also, of course, control levels. But yeah, basically expand your territory or build up your territory gives you more troops. And they're trying to retake Kormaleb here. That's cute. I think I'm going to finish the siege in Madoi before they retake Kormaleb. And the war score is at 98, so they're running out of time. New choice. Some of my counselors believe the job is theirs by right of blood or influence alone. How wrong they are. I expect results, and I am often disappointed. After a long day, I am contemplating to Lakshman when she interrupts me. Let me do something about it, husband. A few lessons might sharpen their wits. So here is the choice. A, give him a few lessons, my steward. And she would gain... the steward here would gain +2 stewardship for 15 years. So taking a look at her, she has a stewardship of 17, so she go up to 19 for 15 years, and also gains an opinion of me. Or, alternatively, I could have her try to teach the religious leader that I have. He would gain 3 learning, or she, I don't know, it looks like a she. She would gain 3 learning. She has a learning of 14, but she does not want it, so she would lose opinion, a little bit of opinion of me. Or, I could romance her. So she would gain opinion of me, and we would build a bit of a romantic relationship. So those are the 3 options. Improve the steward, and the steward likes it. Improve the religious leader, and the religious leader doesn't like it. Or improve my relationship with her directly. And taking a look, my religious leader, there is not good replacements. My steward, there is Bongon, who is a pretty decent replacement. Dang, I really should have made him a steward earlier, actually, because his traits, well, she's possessed. His traits probably trump hers, or relationship. So, looks like we're going with option number 3 for a romantic relationship. And then I'm going to choose to make my champion my steward. So I'm firing that old steward because one of his benefits is he's an architect. So it also makes buildings cheaper and faster to construct. So if we... does that not take an effect? I guess it doesn't. Thought it would. But still, he's a better steward. Trusting, temperate, and brave. I like those traits too. Okay, war has been won. Yoink! So I gained Cormleb's title here. I'm disbanding my army, but I am now above my domain limit. Oh, and she's pregnant. Hey, I see what you guys were doing. Let me run the raffle timer for this next kid, if this kid is to be. So, domain limit. Depending on my own stewardship levels and my title holdings, I have a certain amount of titles that I can hold just by myself. And right now I'm above my limit, which means that there is a penalty to levies and taxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give up one of my current titles. I'm going to give up my title to Sog to my son. So if I take a look here at the titles that I currently hold, I have 7 titles, and I'm not supposed to have more than the county titles that I currently have. The Chiefdom of Sog, I'm going to grant to my heir, Querzilla. And now Querzilla has become my vassal because he is a chieftain or whatever. So then I'm going to negotiate alliance between me and my son. And he accepts because he's 4. It's not like he's going to say no. I can also change my contract with him. Here, let me pause a second. To lower taxes or raise taxes, to lower levies or raise levies. It changes his opinion of me, but because I'm his father, I can also, like, force it. I think that some of the things that I could do is to... Well, I'm not going to change this contract, but, like, I could make it so that the title couldn't be revoked by me. But since... I don't really need to do that, because he's inheriting the title anyway, so it's not that important. But there we go. Now my son is the... I think it's what? Count? Yeah, he's the Count of Sog. Hey, buddy. And I have a new perk. So let's do Strict Organization to give me additional control county gain progress. So if I take a look here, I was at 0.6, now I'm at 0.9. So they become under control a little bit faster. And my wife is starting to really like me, which is good. Did she ever convert? Yeah, she did. It just never made the announcement that she did. Got it. All right, keeping a pause for just a second. I'm going to take a look at potential opportunities. So Nagormo is pretty weakened with their current war. They're winning it, but they're pretty weakened against Amdo. Amdo is not, even though they're losing the war, they don't look worse for wear, which I'm not really sure how that works. Nagku down here is looking real weak and real soft as the target. To my southeast, they look pretty powerful still. And Nakwin, same deal. In terms of my own forces, I have a army that goes up to about 1683 because I have all these men-at-arms. So I have pretty considerable combat power compared to my neighbors. I just have to be careful that my neighbors don't have forces. So if we take a look at the kingdom title, because I know I'm fighting for the kingdom title, I'm now up to 4 because we took this county. So I'm working on it. The other thing to consider is to try to take duchies as well. So one thing that we could do is, for instance, we could go to war with Nangquen to take this county, this northernmost county, because this northernmost county belongs to a duchy of Quarmeleb. And then owning 2 of the 3 duchy, the counties in the duchy gives me the duchy title. So right now I am the Duke. I am the Duke of my original Dai county, and I could eventually acquire enough territories to become the Duke of Quarmeleb at the same time. Now, you can only have 2 duchy titles at once, so what's really important is, while you're building up duchy titles, to make sure that you're starting to work towards a king title, because eventually what will end up happening is, if I have, like, let's say 2 duchy titles and I acquire another duchy, I'm going to have to raise someone in my empire up to the level of Duke, which means that they're kind of not under my control. We are of the same rank tier. So that's why when I play, I try to constantly be thinking about, how do I become a king? Or how do I become, if you're a count, how to become a duke? If you're a duke, how to become a king? If you're king, how to become an emperor? All right. So that next raffle is going to go to Minerva. So if you have a specific name that you want me to name, just type it in chat so that my next child will be named after you. So right now, Quarmeleb has pretty low control, but I'm not going to be investing in the control just yet because I want to shore up Sog first. The popular opinion of Sog is pretty bad, so shoring it up. Plus, it is my kid's territory, so I want to manage it for him. And this used to be, I think this used to be a feudal, yes, this was a feudal territory. So they have a feudal government, which is different than the tribal government that I normally have. So they have different options of buildings. These are feudal buildings that I can build there, like monasteries or military camps, versus the versus my tribal buildings, which are war camps, palisades, gathering halls, and markets. So if I take just a... Why is my mouse wheel not working? Hello, game. There we go. If I take just a look, second here, some of these kingdoms out here are feudal kingdoms. Feudal, tribal, feudal, tribal, feudal, and they work a bit differently. Feudal is kind of more social. Their society is more advanced, but then they're restricted by conquest. Is sort of the like simple way to put it. So tribal kingdoms can spread faster, but feudal kingdoms have a little bit more control over their territories and their vassals and their inheritance and all that stuff. Ooh, a well-organized court. Every courtier gains opinion of me, despite my spouse's poor stewardship skills. Oh, it's not poor, it's average. Cut her a break. That's just rude. So I am a little tempted. The problem is, if I go to war with Amdo, he can call in some super allies, and that would be really, really bad for me. So as much as I really want to fight Amdo, I'm probably going to want an ally first. Now, one thing I could do is I could try to marry my daughter off to someone to arrange a marriage with a powerful ally. So, like, I could try to arrange an alliance with, Dazul? And they will even accept a matrilineal hook, which means her children would be in my, obviously I'm not going to marry her off to a 45-year-old, but her children would be considered in my dynasty. So that's the important part. Because otherwise, because what could end up happening here is what I'm trying to warn you about. Let's say for some reason my son dies and I have married off my daughter to a foreign leader and her children belong to that foreign leader. What ends up happening there is my dynasty ends because I don't have a valid heir. So I have to be very careful about who I marry her off to. But that would be a good way to get a good ally, to get a powerful ally if I needed one. So what's interesting here is, oh, here's the daughter. Chose to name her Seba. Thank you for tuning in to Crusader Kings III: Rise of the Die, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 1st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that stayed till the end of the credits. I'll catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Adios.